Hello, everybody. Intuition here. Thank you, as always, for making time and space for us. Today, we would like to discuss the idea of wants and needs. We feel that it is important to understand what wants and needs are, because once you understand what wants and needs are, you're able to get them met every time you see them come up for you. Instead of waiting, hoping, dreaming that one day this need or this want will pass, or that somebody will get this need or want met for you. As soon as you realize a need or want coming up, you could say, let me take care of that. And be able to have the tools necessary in order to meet those needs and wants. So first, let us discuss. If you have a need, let's just start with needs. If you have a need, the only reason that a need is coming up is to tell you we have to get this done first in order for us to progress on the path that is necessary for our evolutionary growth, whatever that looks like for today. It doesn't need to be some big esoteric thing. It could simply be, I need to pee before I get to work. I need to eat before I undertake this big new project. So it is basically telling you there's something that needs to happen first before we continue on in our day, in our life, in our evolutionary track of journey. So a need is simply to tell you, wait a second, we need a pause. We need a break, time out from the game of life. Let us incorporate a little time for ourselves to be able to get that need met. And usually needs fall under the category of what becomes a need and what I necessitate as a need is simply the bodily functions to get me through the day. So again, my body needs to eat. My body needs to use the bathroom. My body needs to sleep. My body needs a shelter in order to house and feel comfortable in the skin that I'm in. But the flaw with that is the idea that those are just bodily needs, and we don't incorporate the other needs, usually, that we have inherent to just having a body, because we are more than just a body. If we were just humans in the literal sense, nothing more, nothing less, then we wouldn't really have needs outside of the body. But we do, unfortunately, for some of us. So then therefore it's important to incorporate those wants back into the needs category, because usually our wants simply because they don't fall into the bodily functions that we need to get us through the day. If that makes sense. Now, we're not talking about the idea, I have 1,000,000 pairs of shoes and I want 1,000,001. No, that is not what we are talking about. But usually we'll place our wants outside of our needs category because, again, we feel like, that isn't necessary for my body's survival. And that is silly. Because, again, if at the end of the day, a need is simply for us to take a break, to make space and time for us, to get something met, to get an evolutionary need met that will continue us to move further on our journey. Because, again, if I don't eat, then I'm really probably not going to get as much done as I'd like to get done. If I don't sleep, then I'm not going to have the energy that's needed in order for me to undertake this big project. All of those things are just stepping stones for me to get to where it is that I say that I want to be. And our wants are the same thing in that. I want this because I feel like if I have this, then that means I will be able to get to the next step in my life that I say I want to get to. So wants, it is important to reincorporate back into our needs category, even though they don't necessarily fit the idea of, my body doesn't need it. Who gives a shit? You're not just your body. You are a whole organism, not just a body. More importantly than the body, energy. As energy makes up the body and makes up outside of the body in which you occupy. So it is not just about the body and getting the bodily needs met. It is about how do we get everything met, and that is incorporating our wants and our needs into one category. And what we see when you do that is a miraculous miracle. And that miracle is when I start incorporating my wants back into the needs category, my wants get met. My wants get met because I will go through whatever length necessary to get my bodily needs met. If I have to use the bathroom and it's an emergency, come hell or high water, I'm going to the bathroom. I will drive, if I am driving and all of a sudden I'm hit with the urgency that I have to use the bathroom, I will drive the car into the building if that means that I get to use that bathroom faster. And so when we go through any lengths to get our needs met and we reincorporate our wants back into the integration of our needs, then what we see is that our wants and needs simultaneously get met in a way that is a lot quicker than when we create a boundary and a membrane between those two things, because they really are one and the same. The only flaw that comes into play after you put your wants and your needs together, because some of us are not even getting some of our needs met. So the only issue that comes into play with that is when we are waiting for something, someone outside of ourselves to get our needs met, and that is flawed. It's a flawed understanding. If we're waiting on somebody else to get our wants or our needs met, an external situation, society, the universe, the big lady in the sky, the big man in the sky, to come down and give us a kiss on the forehead, which will then grant us all it is that we're saying that we're needing and wanting, if we're waiting for that, then keep on waiting. Dust off a nice, comfy chair because you will be sitting in that for the rest of your life. Because needs are yours. They're not your mother's, they're not your father's, they're not society's. Needs are inherently yours, and if they're inherently yours, then that means that you need to take responsibility for getting those needs met. Because nobody else will meet those needs for you. So we will give the example of this. If you're waiting for somebody to get your needs met, two people could have the same need, but how they go about getting that need met needs to be satisfactory as equally as having the need met. Because it doesn't matter if the need gets met, it has to be in the way that you need the need to get met. So again, the example is, if you are married or dating somebody, right? And you both know that you're hungry, and you say, sweetheart, I'm hungry. Oh my goodness, I'm hungry as well. How wonderful this is that we're on the same page. Perfect. Well, what do you want to eat? Well, I don't know what I want to eat. Okay. Well, do you want a burger? No. Well, do you want seafood? No. Well, do you want chicken? No. So the example again that we're giving is, two people could have the same needs. But it is not on either or to get that need met for the other person. Because it becomes about, well, we both have the same need, but one of us, or both of us, are waiting for the other to tell them how to get that need met so that they can meet it for them, as opposed to that individual being able to meet that need for themselves and being satisfied and having met that need. Because then it just becomes a game. Well, will you be able to get my needs met? I see that you can't. I'm disappointed. So if you're waiting for somebody else to get your needs met, you're playing a game that involves two losers at the end of the day. Whoever that is, your significant other, your mother, society, God, the universe, both of you losers, because you're both waiting on the other to get something done that you inherently are responsible for because it is your need. Same with wants. You don't wait on somebody to get your wants met. Nobody knows what you want. Nobody knows what you need other than you. And so then therefore it is on you to get it done. So, those are the only things that usually get in the way of you getting your needs and wants met. I'm waiting on society. I'm waiting on the universe. I'm waiting for God. I'm waiting for Jesus. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for something, someone else outside of myself to get my needs met. And if you keep on doing that, then good luck. We wish you well. We'll see you on the other side. Where that side is, we're not sure, because somebody might have to take you there. And the last point we'll make is, maybe you're not waiting on anybody else to get your needs met. You are so independent. You say, no, I don't need anything or anyone to get my needs or wants met. I do it myself. Fantastic. You're already on a great start, a great trajectory. So then, why are your needs and wants not met? It would be as simple as, if you are waiting on yourself to get your needs met, and you know what it is that your needs and wants are, and you still are not fulfilling them, then on some level, you don't want those needs and wants met. Which sounds counterproductive and counterintuitive, but that is usually what it looks like. If you, again, are depending on yourself and you know your needs and you know your wants, but you're still not getting them done because there are obstacles getting in your way, or they're just not coming from the universe, then it is as simple as, you don't really want them. Well, I want to be financially abundant and stable. It is one thing to want things, but it is another to have things. You could want all day, but the energy of wanting versus having is very different. Because once you have something, it means that you have to change your energy around to accommodate and make space for the thing that you wanted. Because wanting is like sending a letter. Having is receiving that letter, and not only necessarily receiving that letter, but having a response big enough for what it is that you just received. You have to make space and know how to breathe life into it continually to allow it to be sustained. So do you really want financial abundance? You say that you want it, but do you know what comes with it? Because on some level you must, and that is why you're saying that you don't want it. If that makes sense. As always, just a little food for thought, something to get you thinking today. Thank you as always for making time and space for us, and we wish you well, getting what you need and what it is that you want, knowing that those things are one and the same, and that only you can get those things met. And now that you have the tools to do so, by knowing that there's nothing outside of you that will get those things met other than you, and that if those things aren't being met in your life, it is not something outside of you, it is you simply not being ready for those things, and knowing that you need to change your energy around and make space for what it is that you say that you want. So now that you have those tools, there's nothing that should be getting in your way of what it is that you know and you say that you want. So good luck attaining all that is inherently divinely yours. Well wishes.